be underway here. We'll see if June has an undefeated standard open in him. And I think this matchup is good for him. I think Brian's focus on sort of the anti-beatdown cards is not where he would want to be against June's splash Sphinx's Revelation mid-range deck.
So you think that a lot of the anti-Jund cards, anti-Rakdos cards that Brian's playing, are just going to be washed out by the tonnage of card advantage that June is going to be able to bring
absolutely.
to bear? So like this is just a non-card. If
June, it's barely. Yeah, if June has a functional hand, that's not even a card.
So that's a big if, apparently. Well, Centaur Healer's up. Actually, Avacyn's Pilgrim is even marginal, right? Like at some point, it's just one more card that's going to go to the bin at Bonfire the damn time.
Yeah. Although June appears to be missing colors. A trade of Centaur Healers, very good for June.
Huntmaster, perhaps? Yes.
Yep. And this is actually could be quite bad for June because I suspect he's missing colors, so he might not even have a spell to cast next turn.
And it looks like a Farseek.
Yeah, it looks like you're up to Farseek.
Oh no, sorry, Borderland Ranger.
Okay.
Same diff, right? He's gonna get a mountain, I would guess.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, a Searing Spear. I really want that.
Yeah.
I mean, unless Brian's got a real good reason, I think that I would just play to flip the Huntmaster.
Seems like a good spot to do that.
So probably ship the Wolf. If June chooses to trade, I actually would trade the Wolf for the Borderland Ranger if he offered it, because it would. If he's going to play to flip the Huntmaster, I'm going to lose a guy anyway, right?
Yes.
So
no, if Brian's willing to trade that Wolf, I think you're absolutely supposed to.
So is he not going to offer the Wolf now?
No, I think he might just be planning on free rolling, killing that Borderland Ranger at some point down the road anyway.
This play is way too fancy in my opinion. He's obviously winning right now, but he's playing in a way like he didn't get max value out of his card that he already has, and he's worse against a top deck Bonfire. No?
I think Brian has another Thragtusk in his hand. Maybe it's just not worth sitting, because if I mean that's pretty rough that he had Searing Spear plus Farseek. It's a little rough. Yeah, Brian might not have been willing to wait 2 turns because like what. If he's committed to going Thragtusk that turn, then Thragtusk the following turn,
Wait, do you agree with the open up on Searing Spear on the Huntmaster, then play Farseek plan? I think you could just play Farseek. Huntmaster doesn't flip, and then you have an instant in case you need to fight a future Huntmaster. Just kill the first body on a Thragtusk. There's like all kinds of stuff that you could do.
Yeah, and if Brian has a Restoration Angel, it's not like he's lacking a good target in play right now.
I mean, tonnage of Thragtusks is a huge way to gain value in the matchup, obviously. So, is there another Searing Spear?
Yes.
That's a low power card.
Low impact card, yeah, absolutely. Although we saw against Glenn Jones that he did keep him in his deck. Now that obviously Brian's deck and Glenn's not the same, but a lot of similar cards.
Brains.
Is it Gavany Township time or something? Oh, we're gonna Restoration. Okay.
I can live with this one, I think.
Presumably we had to tap our mana.
Oh, tramps. And this is going to be a beatdown.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what happened there was he blocked with a Borderland Ranger and went to Restoration Angel it. Brian went to give his guy +2/+2 and trample because the blocker's no longer there. Trample just goes fully.
So 7 in.
And June was able to Searing Spear to save 7 points.
Would have been 12, right?
Yeah.
How do you like the Selesnya Charm play at all? I actually dislike that play. I think it's unnecessary attempt to deal damage in a matchup where the Selesnya Charm actually has substantial value in killing Thragtusks. He still has the opportunity for a trample play later that would actually win a combat.
Yeah.
Like he's not winning combat.
Yeah,
just exposing a card.
Yeah, it felt a little rushed, especially since you know about Searing Spear.
Like now he's in a position where Gavany Township actually murders his attackers.
Yeah.
He's gonna like, ship Borderland in front of 5/3, Resto Angel in front of 3/3.
Ooh, that's a little. Feels like a little early to be getting frisky.
I don't know. There's no attack. I mean, I think that he is just kind of like making Brian think about it for a sec. It's not it. I could not put my Borderland Ranger in front of that fast enough.
Yeah, I would. I'd be townshipping and
unless he's got another Resto Angel.
Yeah, another Restoration Angel I think makes chumping fine.
I mean, operationally, you should probably use Gavin. Oh no.
Okay,
Westminster's
yeah.
fine. Okay.
Yeah, this play's fine. And now the township's getting a lot better.
That's why he considered attacking.
Yeah, sure.
So it looked like Brian was way ahead, and the little jumpiness and one kind of like unforced error 2 for 1 is put it in a position where even though June is down by 24 life points, actually his position is not bad at all, and that Gabney Township threatens to take over the entire game.
Additionally, Brian is actually missing red mana, so even Bonfire is not something he has access to.
Oh wow!
currently.
And yeah, I guess. Well, he is rich for spells though. You know, not having having lands.
He's only a mana away from Angel of Serenity, so he has some big draws.
There's the mana. Does he have Angel?
He has Angel in hand, yeah, so he can just
probably plop it down there then. And swing for
lethal, right?
8, 10.
Yeah.
It's well,
no,
he'd have to
short.
tap the.
He has to tap out this Pilgrim, so he's short.
Is he getting fancy?
Not really, because he gets a Centaur, and then he gets to hedge a little bit against Bonfire by
burying the
2 Restorations and the 1 Thragtusk. So I think this attack's totally legit.
I mean, June's obviously gonna block, right? Just throw everybody in front of it.
No, because you don't want him to be able to trade his Thragtusk with one of your Angels. You just want to have to just let the Borderland Ranger. Need some dice for our Angels, and now we're gonna Angel.
Hide those guys.
Put Thragtusk underneath as a hedge.
I think he needs to draw Bonfire, right?
Yeah.
And
let's Thundermaw Hellkite instead.
This deck is remarkable. It's like everything from Thundermaw Hellkite to Selesnya Charm, Sphinx's Revelation, and Avacyn's Pilgrim. Dubs everywhere.
Yep.
You know what he needs right now, actually, considering the support of his mana base? Just like a Supreme Verdict would be absurd.
So we're sending across
Death, right? Sphinx's Revelation. Is that going to keep him alive?
6. Yeah.
Wow.
Right? 5. Yeah.
Not bad. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He drew a Thragtusk, and I didn't see any other remarkable spells.
I don't think I think it's very hard for his deck to get out. Oh, there's a Selesnya Charm to kill. Yeah, it seems like it's very hard for June's deck to actually get out from Angel of Serenity game 1. He has 2 copies of Selesnya Charm, and that's basically the Bonfires.
So he has Zealous Conscripts on his sideboard, which is, I mean, Detention Sphere, Oblivion Ring, almost certainly bringing in his 3rd Selesnya Charm, right?
Yep.
Acidic Slime seemed to be a card that he would be willing to play in this matchup. He used it to murder Glenn Jones. Remember, he was like Acidic Slime, Resto yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably dreaming of that draw.
So, trivia time. And this is for 1 free year.
A year?
A full year.
A year of my life.
Days, yes. And fractions of mine.
It's like 14 minutes of Patrick's life.
Yeah. So,
but a year of mine, shackled by iron chain. The chains are like a combo of like iron and silver. So depending on if you're like faithful or a were animal, you're stuck either way.
So for 1 free year,
don't eat the food in Goblin Town. You're not. Don't drink the water. They won't let you leave.
Junyu, going for the perfect 12-0. He's playing kind of a. Not I wouldn't say stock, but reasonable, nothing too fancy, Nihilist, splashing a particular blue-white mythic from Return to Ravnica.
A really ambitious card in a red-green deck.
Yes. So for 1 full year of premium, what is that blue-white mythic? Give your answer, hashtag at SCG Premium, and we'll draw 1 winner for a full year's of premium.
So, Huntmaster of the Fells deck, splashing a particular blue-white. Well, a very good card that is unusual in this archetype. SCG Premium, Silver and Iron Chains. Don't drink the water in Goblin Town.
To the sideboards here, Brian Page. He has Sigarda, Pillar. I think the
Is Sigarda great? Like, or do you just have to Sigarda the other guy's Sigarda?
I don't know. It feels just like another high impact card you can bring in.
I think Sigarda is way better for Brian than it is for June because Sigarda's not actually big enough to fight through a 5/6, right?
Yeah.
So, I think that a 5/5 flyer that's really hard to kill is awesome in general, but from June's perspective, he might need it just because the other guy has it, but his aren't actually gonna.
Yeah.
They don't actually generate that much impact for him. I think. Does June have a 4th Bonfire of the Damned in his sideboard? No.
No, he does not.
Like that, because the highest impact card that he could bring in is Bonfire of the Damned.
Yes.
Like, that card's real good.
Do you think Brian swaps out his Centaur healers for Loxodon Smiters? I mean, the 3 life is irrelevant, and having a bigger body against the Bonfire deck seems valuable.
I wouldn't have either card in my deck if it were up to me. If I were just going to take out those, let's say, 4 Centaur healers, I would gladly have Pillar of Flame and Cigar. I mean, Triumph of Ferocity has no downside, right? So then play and I'm winning, I'm super winning. If I'm losing, it's not like the other guy draws extra cards.
Yes.
You know, and especially if we're talking about a situation where I could have Host of Herons, which is tied for the biggest guy either guy is going to have unless you have any townships going off. And you can't kill. That's a good combo.
Yep.
And Angel Serenity, which is also the biggest, and you really can't kill. Like, Juneseg's not set up to kill these huge toughness creatures. I think Triumph of Ferocity is actually just, like, perfectly fine, especially, like, if he has an Absence Pilgrim draw. He's like, Pilgrim, Triumph, go. And if the game goes like it did last game, where June didn't have a Pilgrim, right? He might be drawing off of Pilgrim.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
It seems like that's kind of a grindy card, but it's not. It's like a Howling Mine. Like over the course of well, think about it. Like you draw 1 or 2 cards of Triumph of Ferocity. Now you're in a position to keep biasing the board in such a way that you're going to keep winning the Triumph of Ferocity count.
Yes.
So like it's very something of something, like in that it can draw you into more copies of something of something. That's not a hint about a particular blue-white mythic. But if it were...
Both players taking a mulligan.
So Mulligan heavily features Brian Page. June's on the play. And
Yes.
has a million colors in his deck.
Yep.
By a million, I mean 5.
Right.
So there's like an asterisk next to the number of million.
But it's the maximum
The maximum number of colors.
that one could play, yes.
So the more I think about it, I really like the idea of Triumph of Ferocity. I would think maybe Triumph, Sigarda, and Pillar. And maybe O-Ring, removing Centaur Healer. All right, let's just say I remove Centaur Healer. I don't hate any of the other cards. I think Huntmaster is relatively low impact, especially if you're on the draw.
Yeah. Just cut a few of them.
Yeah, I gotta leave like 1 or 2 and then bring others. You would agree that Pillar of Flame, Sigarda, and Triumph of Ferocity are all higher impact cards, and some of them are cheaper. Actually, yeah, most of them are cheaper than Huntmaster. All potentially higher impact.
I don't believe that is true of Pillar.
Pillar like kills an Absence Pilgrim, and he's on the draw.
Yeah,
But there's no Absence Pilgrim in June's deck.
Right.
Forget what I just said. I was confused about Absence Pilgrim. However, that actually makes Triumph of Ferocity even better for Brian.
Right.
Because June doesn't have a 1 to match him on. So I really like the Triumph idea. Does he have it? That'd be sweet.
It does not appear so.
Ooh, he's doing something. Farseek?
Yep.
And in for 1? Yes, Pillar. So I could easily go Sigarda and Triumph for Centaur Healers, and then maybe O-Ring, right? O-Ring's okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Basic Mountain. Cavern has been set to Angel.
So he already had white, but some of his angels require more than 1 white, right?
Yes. One of them requires 3.
Host of Herons could be cast off of a Cavern on Angel.
Mm-hmm. There's Huntmaster.
Huntmaster. Rich is really, really good right here with Brian on the front foot with Absence Pilgrim. June wanted to draw a Bonfire of the Damned there.
Would have been nice.
Would have been a nice little bonfire.
It's usually not. It's nice on most turns.
So, what's the math here? Brian can pass. If Brian just does nothing, then his Huntmaster just colds June's Huntmaster unless he has Searing Spear. I wonder if June's been in this spot before.
We saw it once on camera yesterday, but it wasn't.
Really? Do you like that play?
Strikes me as pretty aggressive.
It strikes me as not greedy enough.
Yeah.
Like, pass on a Farseek, you keep the O-ring for, like, a much higher impact threat. Like, what if he just... I mean, I guess Garrick isn't a breaker here. But in theory, you could, like...
Bonfire for 2.
And yeah, if he had made the opposite play, the Bonfire of 2 wouldn't have killed his Ravager of the Fells.
Yeah, struck me as...
Garrick.
It's beast time.
It's a toughie for June. Garrick's sweet on an open board.
Yep. And yeah, he basically needs Bonfire to be able to catch up from this.
Does he have
Thundermaw Hellkite would be an excellent answer as well.
That one is full on not good enough.
He has Keswick Wolf Run, so in theory he might be able to cobble together enough to trample over.
Well, he could certainly pass a turn, right? And then just send a wolf into Garrick, right? With sufficient flippy, and then if he had just got it down to like 1 or 2 loyalty, flip his Huntmaster of the Fells and finish it off with Ravager flip.
Yeah, but it's pretty ambitious to think that he's gonna have that much like wiggle room to play with.
Well, next turn his wolf could have 6 power, which is just even with a double block of 2 beasts.
Yep.
And that's assuming Brian doesn't have anything. Yeah, it's tough to get through. Brian's going to cast something. I think that Brian's body language is the body language of a man with his Bonfire of the Damned. What's your opinion?
No, because I think if he has Bonfire, it's just too. The turn's too.
So, oh wow, Wolf Run, Stream of Life.
Combo deck.
Very big game. That's going to be hard to get out of. And ship. Insult to injury.
So that's a personal wheel of fortune.
That was really mighty. So it was like +7?
Yeah.
Well, at least Garrick is dead.
Yeah, I mean, Brian actually, I mean, that play was awesome, but that's not a free roll. I mean, he made some pretty big concessions that turn.
Sure.
His Garrick's dead. He's gonna take a hit this turn.
It's actually not that bad. Like, the Ravager didn't kill anything. I mean, it killed Garrick, but whatever, right? It was gonna kill Garrick, it was gonna flip. Okay, it would be worse if he killed Garrick and a dude or whatever. Low impact card. Maybe he's got like 5th land. He's gonna have some big high impact card. That would be exciting.
The Saga foil promo plane's a nice touch.
You're just like a font of information on the politic of expensive basic lands.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Brian is like definitely way ahead right now, right? This is
yes. I mean, this June needed to have a haymaker this turn to keep pace with the 7. But, you know, Brian just drew 7, so time is not on your side. June needed a big play that turn, and that's just not.
So, I mean, this is... If he didn't put any mana into Keswick Wolf Run, it means he's got Resto Angel, right?
Yeah.
That's just it. Five. Thraggy. Well, I mean, June can be in a spot where he can just, like, play Resto Angel and gum up the board. I think...
Yeah. Also, it's a little bit funny now with Ravager of the Fell. Like, Brian just drew 7, but he ideally doesn't want to be playing 2 spells. He doesn't want to allow June to be flipping his Huntmaster back and forth.
He just did.
Yeah, he's going to? Okay.
So,
he doesn't really have a choice because he has so many spells in his hand, but it's not...
Yeah, so even if June had Resto Angel, he's just not going to cast it there.
Yeah.
So he'll, like, run... Probably ship a wolf into the red zone, see how many bodies he can take with it, and then flip the Huntmaster.
Yeah. Yeah, the Wolf Run makes it very attractive to just not play any spells.
Just run in there, rumble in there.
Yep. I like
And
this attack. Big fan.
Agree. That's the representation of Selesnya Charm, not Restoration Angel. So, smash your face. Yep. Kill Borderland style.
Yeah, this is, June's definitely squeezing a lot of value out of his Huntmaster right now.
Like you do.
Yep, like you do.
So he, zeroed up to, the cards that he killed were like a bonus card and a card that makes a bonus card.
Yeah.
So he's not even anywhere near the +7 yet. What do you think about just sending the Thragtusk with the Keswick Wolf on?
And what do you do if June were to double block with his 2/2s?
I don't know, trample over them.
Okay. Garrick is going to make a beast.
If you have a Garrick, I think defensive posture is fine.
Sure.
And Brian is just screaming, I have a Restoration Angel as well. Agree?
Yes.
He's actually, the way he's set up his defense is somewhat soft to Keswick Wolfrun, depending on what June uses to attack Garrick here.
Yeah.
But I don't think June can withstand allowing Brian to draw another 5+ cards next turn, which is what he will do if Garrick is not reduced to a much lower level of loyalty.
Yeah, June has basically no way to catch up. Card advantage. He still has Bonfire. He's still.
No, he's not out of it. He's just way behind.
So yeah, sending in the beast and.
If he has Resto Angel, I like a double block.
Sure, just make
him overcommit on the Wolf Run, and then.
Well, he might just murder with the Selesnya Charm here, which would be an utter beatdown, right?
But he can't play in such a way to lose Garrick, I don't think.
Yeah, well, that's why I feel like June needs to be pumping more than this. He needs to threaten.
I agree.
He needs to threaten that Garrick will die to trample damage.
Right, you have to bring Garrick low enough that he just can't draw 5.
Well, no, because the board's getting clogged up. June's probably going to be in the same spot in a turn or two anyway. If he's getting an opportunity to kill Garrick, I think he has to take it.
And yeah, Selesnya Charm.
All right, so yeah, he's just going to charm the.
So what happened there?
I think they Giant Growth backed, and now. Okay, so
why would you possibly Giant Growth instead of removing a 5-power creature?
He couldn't remove the 5-power creature because it was only 4 power.
Oh.
He pumped up to 4.
Oh, well, he was dodging around Selesnya Charm.
Right.
Sorry, okay.
And then when they Selesnya Charm.
and then he just ripped Bonfire the name, so shrug.
Yeah, it's not a huge.
So that was fun.
It was not a huge. Wasn't a huge deal. Which actually, that Bonfire timing is optimal in a number of respects. One is that.
One is that he miracled Bonfire.
Yeah, but it means that Brian is putting on a ton of pressure now without having to expose himself very much to Bonfire on the way back. That's a problem with these Nightmares. Is sometimes to be able to push ahead, you just have to keep adding to the board, and then you just lose to Bonfire.
Resto Angel. So you have a way to Resto Angel, and he can Resto Angel, and it's gonna kill it anyway, right? There's no.
I think he's just lethaling over right now. I think we're in a spot where we can just Wolf Run and kill Brian, or kill June rather.
He needs to put 3 power into it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get Selesnya Charmed.
It's already vulnerable to Selesnya Charm.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to spend all his mana getting Selesnya Charmed. So I think he's going to put in exact lethal, and then there's this Selesnya. Yep. See, so he wants to still be able to do something this turn with his mana that's left over. Borderland Ranger.
He needs to draw a Bonfire back. That would make it very exciting.
June has a very good shot of winning with the Wolf Run in play if he rips Bonfire this turn.
Yeah, for sure. I get Thragtusk will 0 the board.
Yeah.
That was not a Bonfire. So he needs to block, presumably the Beast. and
Well,
then
he needs to block both because of the wolf run.
yeah. So presumably he's gonna block the beast, and then Brian will put Wolf Run into the Borderland Ranger. And Thragtusk, maybe 5.
Is it Thundermaw? Thragtusk he would have just put into play, I think.
Defensive Thundermaw.
Oh, Garrick.
Garrick. Okay.
He has to draw
Because it's not enough. Yeah. Let's see. Did he make his land drop already? If he goes 2 down plus Thragtusk, goes 2 plus 5, 7. Then his blocks are total power 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 over 7, 5. Yeah, he can't pay 2 and play Thragtusk. He would still die to...
Yeah.
He dies to the table if he does that. And it looks like his... what is that? Farseek?
I think it's Farseek.
Ravnica Duel.
Is Oblivion Ring? O-Ring and O-Ring. I still feel like this is not...
This is probably not enough, right? So his
If
total...
Thragtusk wasn't enough. Thragtusk is...
Well, his total toughness is 8. Total power is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 less 8 is which is 1 overload. He's enough to win.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way for June to block.
Think anyone's ever cast a Selesnya Charm to make somebody bigger and then so he could kill with his other Selesnya Charm? You think that's ever happened?
Probably.
All in on the Borderland Ranger, right?
Well, the Centaur's better, right? Because you have...
You get to
applying,
kill.
You start applying trample damage sooner in your pump. Because the second Wolf Run power... You generate 1 more damage by going through the Centaur. Because you only have to make up 1 point pumping through the Centaur, then 2 points pumping through the Borderland Ranger.
Fair enough. It's enough either way, isn't it? 1, 2, 3.
No, he's short if he pumps the Borderland Ranger. He's short. He knocks June to 1 if he goes through the Borderland Ranger.
7, 9, 5. Oh, you're right.
He has to
you're right.
target the
It
Centaur.
has to go through the beast.
Assuming June that life total of 6 is accurate.
And he's putting it there, and he has probably a Selesnya Charm.
Selesnya Charm on the Centaur.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
That's
massive
definitely-
murder, right? So that's 5 there. Overload
Well, actually, no,
1.
because he kind of loses a point on the way back.
He's not dead though, right?
Not any. I mean, assuming June was at 6, I don't understand.
Bonfire then end?
No, it's a forest.
Thragtusk puts him at 7.
I think his hand looks like it's land Farseek.
I mean, just the beast.
Oh
no,
he
it's
drew.
Thragtusk.
He did draw Thragtusk. So yeah, that's. So that's a wash, and then he's at 7, 3, 1, 2, 3.
That's
No,
way lethal, right?
I think it's Xaxes if 7's correct. 'Cause he has 10 lands in play, so that's 7 damage through the Wolf Run. So assuming 7 is accurate, that's Xaxes.
And the other card's a Farseek, right? Did he cast it?
Yeah.
He just ensures that his opponent will kill him? You have to leave it back, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Brian could have killed him last turn. Like, don't you have to kind of like pretend that there's a Restoration Angel in your hand,
like I
or
said,
a
it's
Selesnya
possible.
Charm?
Maybe 7's just not correct. Yeah, because I don't think he would just kill himself on board. I also think that Brian would have killed him last turn.
Oh, so okay, if life total's not correct, then
And so yeah, I mean that's the best conclusion I can draw.
because there's very little that single red or whatever would have been able to save. Yeah, it can't be right.
Right.
He's just shipping him out off for a little damage. Can we get a confirmation on life totals? if 4 is correct, he could have killed him.
And he
Am I
could have
wrong?
killed him the previous turn as well.
Yeah, so.
And turn Restoration Angel, and now we're just gonna.
Whoa!
Oh, we are not gonna fireball.
You gotta wait for him to put the damages
Yeah.
in, right? Like
Yep. A huge Sphinx's Revelation.
literally a huge Sphinx's Revelation. So for 8. I mean, June has to be a huge favorite to win now, right?
It feels like Brian's sandbagging a lot of gas because of. I think he was trying to play it conservatively to play around Bonfire because his hand's like 5 spells or something. There's a bunch of Angel Serenities.
But how could he have not gone for the kill earlier?
He might not have been able to go for the kill, right? That's the conclusion that we can draw at this point. Because Brian, like June was hand up on back-to-back turns. Yeah, there are no cards in hand or no mana up to play any of the tricks in his deck.
Yeah, like the turn where you just pass with red open. There's like almost no
Right.
cards in. You need like lightning bolt to not.
Yeah.
To not.
June has nothing in his deck for R or blue.
Although lightning bolt would have been sweet there. Demolish that centaur, as you call it. June's just gonna like casual Bonfire the Damned.
This is going to start hard casting Bonfires.
And a biggie. What do we have?
Angel.
Yep. And reload, right?
Yep.
I mean, he's in pretty bad position
1,
now.
2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he
For Borderland Ranger and Huntmaster.
He Borderland Ranger didn't fail to find because all of his basics are actually in play right now.
So June needs to get rid of these attackers.
Yep.
Draggy puts him to. I mean, we think it puts him to 14.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 15 in the sky already, if that's true. Next turn. So if he has Resto Angel, he's actually in perfectly fine position.
He does. He has Resto Angel and another Revelation in his hand. It looks like.
Resto Angel's probably the more efficient play this turn, depending on lethality, because it would give him so much swing back damage, right? So it's like 6, 11 coming back against 12 life total with a Keswick Wolf run and an additional Sphinx Revelation backup.
It's a ton.
I think it's way better than Sphinx's here. What a swingy game.
Yeah, a lot of haymakers.
Good Selesnya Charm.
Yep.
Very
Fizzling the Angels come into play.
Prevents lethal either way, though. Right?
Yeah, because he's down 2 points.
Brian had 15 power, and June eats 4 toughness, so yeah, he's gonna throw it all in there.
Do you have a Selesnya Charm? Yep. Pretty awesome.
Blowout. Is this dead? So it's
3,
3.
6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, yeah, if 12 is correct, then yeah, we are. Oh, he has -2 on the block. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it looks like.
I can't see how many lands he has on top, but Brian's pants down, right?
He's got a Borderland Ranger to block, but yeah, he's tapped out.
So he's just counting the damage, right? So
Yeah. I mean, it's 5. It's basically 5 mana to activate Wolf Run and. All right. And
Wow.
Wow! What a comeback.
Sphinx's Revelation, good card.
Yeah.
It's interesting to play that in your Huntmaster of the Fells deck. Although I don't know why that might be an interesting factoid for anyone.
Yeah, it is. It is curious why you would phrase it that way. Yes, I agree. It is curious. So, as goofy as the card looks, once you're casting it for 7, it kind of just doesn't matter what else you were putting in your deck or how you had to cram it in there. So, June somehow pulling out that second game, and now the dream of the 12-0 still alive and kicking.
Jesse, do we have a table reporter on this match? Do you mind sending them to us just for a second? I'm just very curious what we must have been. How much life total were we off up there? It looked to me like Brian had him dead like
Back-to-back turns.
3 turns in a row.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm just curious, like unless he didn't see it.
I don't think that's. I
mean, I get
we've had Brian on camera multiple times today. He's played.
Oh, he played good clocking, right? Like John Finkel magic, right?
Yeah,
like,
he wasn't
attack with everything, leave myself a tiny margin,
right.
Get you 1 turn faster.
The play that I've seen of him on camera does not lead me to believe he's the Mr. Lethal back-to-back turns against an opponent who's like tapped out or effectively tapped out on 2 of those 3 turns. Like,
Nor do I think is June the kind of player that if his opponent might make a mistake, he just throws his Farseek into the graveyard to make sure he kills him. He's just like, just in case you were wondering,
I have nothing.
Here's my last card.
I know that you were pretty sure I had nothing, but just so we clear the air here, I have nothing.
So if you remember you have a Keswick Wolf run, be sure to use it.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, just so many haymakers in those games.
Do you see either player making substantial changes in the next game?
I mean, Smiter becomes more appealing with Brian on the play, right? Like, I mean, he's definitely the more aggressive of the deck.
This is an interesting question. There's an article once about choosing which role you're supposed to play in a matchup.
Yes.
I would guess, despite the outcome of that Sphinx's Revelation game for June, that Brian is loath to really try to become the beatdown deck. Like drawing Loxodon Smiter out of position is so bad for him.
Yep.
And barring basically 1 card, being Sphinx's Revelation, he is actually the more powerful deck. He's ahead on Garrix, right? He has more Garrix. Yes, true story. He has more Garrix than June does, and he has the most powerful creature in the matchup. I agree. Sphinx's Revelation is bad times for Becky. But if he really just throws all of his chips in and says, fine, I'm the turn 2 4/4 deck, he's going to win some percentage of games and lose a much larger percentage of games if things don't go perfectly.
Yeah, I think ultimately that's correct. It's just these games are very. It's just like the incremental damage is just not relevant.
Just nothing.
Yeah, the games are decided by things like bonfire, sweeping boards, big revelations, Angel of Serenity loops. You know, having Thragtusk when the other player doesn't have Thragtusk, so you sort of own the board. That's the sort of stuff that looks like it's determining the outcome of games, not, yeah, I got a jump on him and hit him for 12 and then was able to sort of nickel and dime the last few points.
Because the 12 goes away, right? When they go like Huntmaster Thragtusk, like they're back up to DI, and then you can't even attack. Like at that point in the game, like your opponent's probably pretty happy to throw his Thragtusk in front of your 4/4, and you're like, all right, shrug, and then trade. They still have a body, and they're like, oh, whatever. You know, I just bought a turn.
Right.
It's actually like some future turn, right?
Yeah.
It's like
it's an implied. Maybe I get a turn down the road.
Yeah. Well, it's just like all these yahoos I'm friends with are convinced the Cavs should trade Anderson Varejao, and I'm like, there's just no way they can get par value for it. It's impossible. Yeah. Like no team is going to just ship Kevin Durant or Kevin Love for Anderson Varejao this season, but that's his current value, and they're like, you get future value. I'm like, really? Like Jeremy Lamb's gonna win like 12 games 3 years from now. So, but that's the kind of value you're getting with the Thragtusk against the Smiter.
Yeah,
it's
the
like,
Jeremy Lamb.
Yeah, it's like it's just like, I know you've got this really sweet asset, but trust me, Lamb
down the line, you're gonna
Lamb's just gonna be worth it for your team. I mean, like, I don't think they should make that trade. We just had a question. So, in the last match, it looked to us like that Brian Page had Lethal Keswick Wolf run back-to-back turns, and so we thought. Sorry.
So it looks like June just took a mulligan down to 6 here. Brian. June just perturbed. Yeah. Apparently the judge has confirmed that the life totals were in fact recorded correctly. So
he just did the math wrong, and Actually, it's interesting that he figured that out before Game 3. I think that if I were on the play in Game 3 in this matchup, I would much rather have not known.
Sure.
Because it's got to be weighing heavily on him, right?
Yeah. I have my own history of elimination round snafu and camera on Star City games. The second cough. I didn't know the Planeswalker rule worked that. I thought it was like you got to keep one of them.
Yeah.
Because I
killed them both.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
You won.
I did. Not. Oh yeah, I did win that game actually. Yeah. Never mind.
I thought that you were talking about you were top 8 of a Grand Prix. You come in with a lethal morph. Your opponent
is playing for top 8. Yes.
Your opponent, who happens to be in the Pro Tour Hall of Fame now.
Farseek for Brian here.
Sent a shock at your morph that was going to kill him. What life total were you at the time?
I was at 2.
Good man though. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Top 8. That was your first top 8 for Grand Prix, right?
Yes.
High five.
Avacyn's Pilgrim and another Farseek. Yep. But I don't believe Brian has another land drop in hand. So he's a little bit exposed here if June's kept in Searing Spear.
It seems way ahead on the battlefield.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So 5 total mana for Brian Page.
June, no third land, no green mana.
This is going to be hard to come back from if you're
Yes.
June. So exciting game 2. And
There
this
is
is a tough one.
occasionally, and certainly more so the case when you mulligan, there is an opportunity cost to putting Hallowed Fountain in your Huntmaster Fells deck.
So
it's not free.
let's say you had 3 Farseeks in your hand.
Yeah.
Yep. Discarding, basically, that's the widget of this matchup, right? And then there's Host of Herons, and that's it, right?
That's it. It's a miracle.
I mean, I don't know what true life totals are, but
Yeah,
more or less it's
probably 4. I believe that's 4 now. And
there's the Farseek hand. So
Brian Page.
anticlimactic finish.
Yep. June, maybe, I guess, should have perhaps considered 5 cards there since it seemed like his hand was non-functional. I think he had Farseek. So maybe that hand on 6 cards, a speculative keep, but if he draws green early, he can just sarcastic everything.
He only has 12 sources of green mana in his deck. It's
Yeah.
like 12 over. I mean, how many cards are in his deck then? 50